All right, we're on again. Thanks for joining me with this video, another episode of the Backbone Zone, and of course for those that are listening, stoked to make it back on. I have just got a bit of news today, as well as I guess a few other things that I just wanted to speak about. The first thing is just that I filmed a chaos. So my frame behind me that you can see if you're watching the video, if you're just listening, I got sponsored by We The People back in 2020. And straight away we started working on a signature frame. I personally can't believe it. I'm about to turn 36. And I got, asked, they wanted to make a signature frame with me. And I, of course, was psyched as. And for those that don't know me, I love riding jumps, I love riding trails, and I love riding essentially concrete and tall, steep, big, deep things. So anything that is just fun to catch air on, that's my jam. And anyhow, I am hoping to do an episode with Dave Patterson, who's the head product designer at We Make Things, which is kind of like the parent company of We The People, Klar, all those brands. But just working out the finer details with that one. But so I'll keep the details to my frame separate. But I did make a video as soon as I got my frame. It had been from essentially about July of 2020, maybe August or something like that, when we first started speaking about the frame. And it's been it's been up until just a few months ago I got my bike, and it's just been developed this entire time. And one of the things that's, I guess, quite notable about it compared to other freestyle frames is the fact that it's got a disc mount. So that obviously changes it up quite a bit. The frame that I have has an optional U-brake mount, so the Chaos Machine will come with the option to run a U-brake as well if you like the Geo but you aren't 100% sure on the disc, or you aren't up to buying the disc yet for money or whatever. So I wanted it to be able to, you could use both. But anyhow, I digress. I made a video, literally got my bike, finished building it up, and you will see it here if you're watching. So it's on YouTube now, and if you go on to Backbone YouTube, it's it's just a video of me building my bike and then speaking about it a lot. Literally one of the first runs that I'd ever done was filmed on it, which was pretty cool. If you have been interested in my frame, or you just want to see what that's all about, then please feel free to go to the Backbone YouTube and check it out. I'm working on a few more clips, a bit more riding on it, that will come out through We The People and a Klar as well. So crazy to think that I have a signature frame and signature seat through a Klar. So the signature seat, the Klar XL seat, is actually available on the site right now. So if you were to go onto backbonebmx.com, you can jump on and order the seat. It lands here on Monday, and today's Friday, so it's actually my birthday on Monday, so it's pretty cool timing that this stuff's landing. But yeah, if you were to jump onto the site, you can see that the seat is available in railed or in pivotal. Super hyped. And but I guess if you like railed seats and you like that kickback, like what the Cashamax seat, and also my friend Russell Brindley runs a seat. I can't remember exactly what brand of seat it is, but it's just this old school seat that has a bit of a kick to it, and I really like the way it looks. So jump on, buy yourself a seat. The other thing I wanted to talk about was just that the World Championships, so the 2022 BMX Freestyle World Championships is on in Abu Dhabi right now. And the reason why I wanted to speak about it was just that I do BMX coaching as well. And I've been coaching Sarah Nicky, who is a young 15-year-old female rider from Canberra. I've been coaching her for a few years now, and she's been selected, to be on the Australian freestyle team. And that team, I guess, is the same team that would go on to represent Australia in the Olympics, which is awesome to see. She's been riding like a bat out of hell, and the fact that she's 15 and now on the Australian freestyle team, it's super awesome. Obviously, it will be, for a 15-year-old, there's a lot of pressure on someone's shoulders just in general to try and ride well at an event, let alone when you're 15, and then you've got to go over to the World Championships in Abu Dhabi, probably the first time out of the country for her, and she's got to go and ride her BMX bike as good as possible in the world stage. So I just wanted to, give a shout out to Sarah and just let her know that she's done a great job even just by getting there. It's pretty massive achievement for someone that's, she doesn't even have her L's yet. She can't even drive a car yet. So she's 15 and she's over in Abu Dhabi representing Australia, which is super sick. I never would have thought that I would even see, never would have even thought about BMX being in the Olympics, and let alone coaching someone who has a chance to represent Australia at the Olympics in the future. So it's I'm pretty chuffed, and I'm just stoked to see Sarah doing her thing. It's World Championships is a pretty, I guess, new part of BMX. That whole idea of going and you're representing a country and you're trying to win like the World Championships. We've been pretty solidly not a sport culture, whatever you want to call it, that has that type of accolades. But for some riders, it's how they make a living. And then as well as that, I think it's actually really cool to see it from that country perspective. Like, it's not just necessarily a rider, but it's almost like watching State of Origin, or Bledisloe Cup or something like that. You start to get behind your country because that's where you're from. So it's pretty sick to see that riders are over there representing Australia. And, we've obviously got some absolute killers in the wings for BMX in terms of Logan Martin and Brandon Lupos and Jake Warwork, who's a sick dude as well. He's over there. So, yeah, really, really cool. It's on right now, so if you're watching this, I could probably show you the program. It's actually, it looks like the girls, so Sarah's not going to ride until the Sunday. So it says 12:30 Abu Dhabi time. I just had a look. It's 10 o'clock in the morning right now, and it's about 2:30 a.m. there. So I'm sure that they'll have a live stream up for that. And I look forward to watching and just see the craziest go down. In terms of the actual riders in the men's competitors, I think that there's some crew that's kind of on the up and up. Obviously, Daniel Sandoval has been killing it for a long time, but it seems like he's starting to put stuff together, which is going to be, I guess, a real threat, if you would want to call it that, in quotation marks. But he's riding super sick. It's also really cool to see Kevin Peraza over there. He's riding and representing Mexico. And if you didn't know, Kevin just got Transition Rider of the Year for Nora Cup. And I think that his style of riding is a little bit more unique, and it'll be interesting to see him obviously he can do all the crazy tricks, but then to see that unique style of riding that he does, it'll be pretty interesting to see how that works, judging wise. The other thing that I just wanted to talk about, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I think it's important to mention. It's basically my thoughts about being an older rider, and if you are, or if you're just a BMXer and you're feeling like maybe you don't know why you're still doing it. And I've kind of distilled. I wrote an article years ago, the 11 reasons why riding BMX would make you a better person. But I've kind of distilled it down because I've been thinking about how BMX can just be so beneficial to people. But for the hardcores like myself, for people that have been riding for years and it's intrinsic into their nature to ride BMX, like you just want to be everything. You're about BMX in every aspect. You watch all the stuff. You obviously love riding. You're on top of watching all of the latest products potentially that are coming out. Or maybe you don't do that and you're just so hardcore that you just love riding, you love digging trails or looking for street spots, and that's your jam. But almost to follow on from my podcast about BMX popularity and why I think it's important that BMX actually gets more popular to help sustain and grow the hardcore side of BMX. I'm going to put it down to the 4 Fs. The 4 Fs is the biggest reasons why I think BMX is so important to everyone and why it transcends the sport. So the 4 Fs are, the first one is of course fun. So if you are a rider or if you're new to BMX, this is why I want to go through the 4 Fs. Fun being one of those things that I feel like as you get older and you haven't been riding for a while, or you may be thinking about getting into something, it's just so damn fun to ride a BMX bike. And to be honest, it's not even something where you have to be really good at it to enjoy the fun nature of BMX. There's something about tearing down the streets or around the lake, and standing up off the seat, carving on flat ground, that can make riding a bike so much more fun when it's a BMX bike. So life's stressful. Life is stressful when you're an adult and you're doing adult things, and you do need to have that stress relief. And the way that you would have, stress relief is to do something fun. So I think that BMX is 100% that. It's totally fun. There's no pressure to be good, and it's just a great way to find yourself being in the moment and having fun. So the first F is fun. The second F, which I think is very important, is fitness. So a lot of people when they get older, they are trying to figure out how to stay fit, and a lot of people don't want to go to the gym because it's they don't want to have to go and do something they don't really want to do. So we tend to forget that things can be fun, and that's also the best way to stick at something is to make it fun. And the cool thing about BMX is that it's fun, but it's also keeps you super fit. I have the pleasure of riding with and coaching his son. His name's Guy, and he actually used to do a lot of triathlons, and he's super fit, but he's been recently, over the last couple of years, been riding BMX, and he finds that the fitness aspect to BMX pretty challenging. And this is someone who can smash Ks on a road bike or run, for hours. And he is now finding BMX to be his form of fitness. But I can guarantee when he hops on his bike, he's not even thinking, wow, this is I'm getting a workout, So it's kind of cool to have this thing in BMX that keeps you fit without having to worry about actually making the connection to, I have to get fit, I have to be fit, because you ride BMX, boom, fun and fit. So the second F to why BMX is good, especially for older riders, is fitness. Third F, friendship. Of course, the cool thing about BMX is that when we are riding BMX, we have the ability to make so many friends. Like, simple as that. Some of my best friends in my whole life, they just all ride BMX. And through BMX, I've been able to form very deep friendships and connections with people that, who knows if I ever would have even met that person if I didn't ride BMX. But one of the things that I think is quite powerful about BMX is that it does transcend social groups. So, it doesn't even matter what age. It doesn't matter how much money you earn. It doesn't matter, what ethnicity, background, whatever it is. You ride BMX and all of a sudden you're at the skate park and you're saying g'day to someone that you've never met before that also rides BMX, and then all of a sudden, boom, you've just made new friends. I found that even from coaching, I've met all these great people because of BMX allowing me to, put myself out there in a way that I still feel comfortable, because I'm on my bike. I can say g'day. We can start talking about BMX stuff if we want. We don't have to. And then you get like a bit of a mateship going. It's cool to be able to feel like you're a part of something. And with that, feeling like you're in this big group that has a bunch of different type of people in it, then you have so much opportunity to make friends. And I think it's really cool. The other thing about friendship that I just wanted to talk about was just that when we get to ride with people too, they often have a feeling of being able to talk a little bit more freely, because you are in a state of having fun, so your stress levels are a little bit further down, so you can just shoot the shit. Essentially, you can talk to someone about things that might be troubling you. And I know that mental health is a big thing that's a lot more out there now. We don't have to be ashamed to hide things that we're feeling stressed or anxious about. And I think it's cool that when you're on your bike, you also have that other extra level of comfort, because you're just chilling with the homies, riding at the skate park or whatever, but you can say some shit that might be getting you down, and they're able to help you through it through riding or through talking about it. And because you're also riding, you're just feeling a little bit more at ease. So I'm pretty hyped on the friendship aspect of BMX. Like I said, I've met some of the best people in my life just because of BMX. So very cool. The third F in reasons why older riders or people should ride BMX: friendship. Easy. The fourth one, which I think will surprise people, but I will attest to its power, is actually fandom. So I really like the idea that BMX can provide something that you can follow along with. So I was just talking about the World Championships in Abu Dhabi. That might not be something that particular riders are into. But what I'm getting at is, if you're into building trails, or if you're just you've seen BMX online for the first time, and you can then, in this day and age, you can follow along that journey with people, and that creates something that makes you feel inspired or motivated to get up in the morning and create your own memories with it. So I do that a lot with, there's a guy, Jay Lonigan, and he is kind of like the head digger at Posh, and every time I see him post something on Instagram, I'm such a fan of it, of him and what he does and the way that he lives his life as an older rider, still making it happen for himself, that inspires me. And I think that by BMX giving people the opportunity to be fans of things, having fandom the same way that people love following a football team, I think there's nothing wrong with being stoked to fan out on stuff. It's not a bad thing to be I guess infatuated would be a good way of describing it. There's nothing wrong with being infatuated with BMX. So another thing would be that for me, watching older riders now, seeing Chris Doyle getting hooked up on S&M, that creates a level of fanatical inspiration that you would not otherwise have if you didn't ride BMX. So don't be scared to become a fan of people. It's we live in a bit of a society of tall poppy syndrome, want to cut people down. I am a fan of watching, say, Logan Martin, Brandon Lupos ride, and I will 100% be cheering them on when the next Olympics is on, or even the World Championships, because I want to see those guys do well. I think that it's cool, their story, that they have basically built their career by themselves. And, Logan built a whole ramp set up in his backyard just to make sure that he could continue to ride really well. And that sort of stuff, the stories behind it, adds a deeper level of fandom and will give you more inspiration than you think to continue riding. So, if you're new to riding, or if you want to have a bit of motivation on why you should continue riding, then remember those 4 F's. It's all about fun. You're going to stay fit. You're certainly going to be able to form friendships, and you're going to be able to fan out on stuff that happens every single day across the world. So that's my ideas. I'm off to the speaking of competitions, I'm off to the BMX Nationals next week in Melbourne. So it's the national championships for Australia, and I'll be commentating the event. So if you're down in Melbourne next week, come say g'day, and I will see you guys next week. See you later.